Okay, so good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining AdvanceTrack's latest webinar. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Simon Smallwood from Fluidly, who you may have heard of, or you may not have done, but they currently, only a couple of weeks ago, won Xero's Emerging App Partner of the Year. So welcome, Simon. And I guess really from my point of view, it's this is just a bit of admin. If you're not able to hear through your computer, there is also the option of dialing in. So I'm just going to go to the next slide. Just a little about myself, not too much. I'm Vipul Sheth. I'm a chartered accountant, chartered tax advisor, trained in a 4-partner office before going to EY, KPMG, and founded AdvanceTrack in 2003. But, this session will be recorded, so if anybody does have to leave or wants to listen to it afterwards or wants some colleagues to listen, it will be available on the page that you registered from, our webinars page on our website. So, okay, so before we do anything else, just a very quick one. I'd just like to get a feel from the audience as to where people are. Do people currently use forecasting tools today? And I'm then going to go through our agenda. So whilst we're doing that, we're just going to sort of talk about an intro from Simon. Simon, if you wouldn't mind introducing both yourself in terms of who you are, your background, and then perhaps sort of 30 seconds or about what Fluidly currently does and what its kind of goals are.
Okay, no problem at all. Well, firstly, good morning, everyone, and Vipul, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak today. My name is Simon Smallwood. I'm the head of partnerships here at Fluidly, and I've been with the business for just over 12 months. Before I joined Fluidly, I'd spent the previous 10 years running a business that I co-founded in January 2008, International Private Finance. And that business it arranges finance for people buying second homes abroad and is the market leader in the field that it works in. But obviously setting that company up 9 months before Lehman Brothers went bust was a challenging time. And so I've got a lot of experience in terms of managing small, medium-sized businesses, and particularly around cash flow forecasting. So hopefully in terms of Fluidly and the service and the benefit that we provide to accountants and end users, I'm able to look at it from the other side, which is always useful. In terms of Fluidly, we are a fairly young business. We're 2 years old. We were set up in October 2016 by our founder, Caroline Plum, who'd also had extensive experience working within businesses that she'd set up herself previously. And essentially what we're looking to do is to use artificial intelligence and the data within accounting software to be able to provide business advisors and their clients with insights and intelligence about what's going to happen to their cash or the cash within their business in the days, weeks, and months ahead, and provide that intelligence and insight so that they can start making business decisions based on forward-looking financial information and data, rather than the historical financial information that's typically been used up until this point. Okay, brilliant. Well, you're talking to an audience where 80% of those who voted currently use forecasting tools. So you're certainly talking to an audience that has some understanding of what is currently being used, and obviously the forward-thinking accountant that you and I all seek to work with. So I've got a loose agenda there about what we want to talk to, but part of the reason that we're talking is one of our clients
suggested I should talk to you guys. But I think more than anything else, I kind of go back to my own role previously when I worked in practice, and I build cash flow forecasts. And, you know, essentially it was a spreadsheet, and you put a load of assumptions in and stuff happened. In terms of the world that is currently out there, am I being a cynic if I said that a lot of it is spreadsheets because it uses aggregated data, but it just works a lot quicker because it pulls data out of the cloud accounting products? You know, and this is not about any criticism of any products out there. It's just kind of the way technology seems to have developed. Perhaps you can sort of tell me what your thoughts are on where you think the world should be and where Fluidly currently is, and what your plans are to use AI more effectively.
Okay. Well, I think, you know, again, from my own experience and having built cash flow forecasts in Excel, I think it's certainly true that that sort of the leaps and bounds may not or haven't yet taken place in terms of how forecasting has improved and evolved over recent years. And I think that's backed up by the number of accountants that I talk to these days that are nurturing their copy of Sage Wind Forecast on an old laptop hidden away somewhere in their office to be able to produce forecasts and continue to keep that software alive. I think certainly from Fluidly's point of view, we see there's some really exciting developments going on at the moment, both in terms of the availability of financial data, and obviously, an important part of that is around cloud accounting software and software full stop that's available within the cloud, but also developments like open banking that are really going to have a huge impact in terms of how financial data is consumed by users, also how that information can be delivered, and how those insights can be used both for the benefits of individuals, but also SMEs. And as you may or may not be aware, open banking came into effect in January this year, and there has been some questions around whether or not users are going to be comfortable sharing their financial information with new companies that may be new to the market. But there are some really interesting facts or some data released by open banking that was quoted in the Times this morning, saying that the data requests in September this year, there had been 7 million data requests from users in the UK to make their information and their data available through open banking, and that is an increase from 0 9 months ago. So I think if we, and certainly our belief at Fluidly is there's a huge opportunity to use machine learning and artificial intelligence and combine that with the data that is available in cloud accounting software and other sources to be able to provide predictions and insights around what is going to happen to companies' finances looking into the future. And I think it's a really exciting prospect in terms of business owners and their advisors being able to make decisions about growing and developing businesses, but also handling or problem solving around challenges that businesses may face, but be able to make those decisions based on forward-looking data rather than the data and information that's been available in the past. And there are a number of benefits in terms of artificial intelligence and how it can speed up processes, update information in real time. Certainly at Fluidly, we believe are really going to help transform the way small businesses and their advisors work, and also the information that they're going to have at their fingertips in the future.
And in terms of your route to market, is it direct to business or through accountants? What's your kind of, where is it that you're looking to work with? Because the people in the room today are accountants, so it's just understanding sort of how you see yourselves fitting in and supporting the people that are in the virtual room today and those who will listen to this at some point in the future.
Yeah, so our go-to-market strategy is very much focused on partnering with accounting firms and being able to provide value not only for the accounting firms themselves, but also for the end users in terms of the services that we're able to provide and that can be delivered to them through artificial intelligence. So, adding value and making accountants and bookkeepers' lives easier is very much our focus, and ultimately that's for the end benefit of the clients themselves, or the SMEs themselves that are working with those firms.
And in looking at what you're currently trying to solve, you have a number of features that are kind of connected to cash flow. So tell me kind of how Fluidly currently enables both accountants and businesses to improve cash flow, and then we can talk wider about how you're helping the firms deliver that at scale. I guess would be really important, because this is presumably something that can apply cross-platform and across a range of clients, presumably.
Yeah, that's very much the case, and how we deliver that at scale, I can cover in a little bit more in a moment. But essentially what we're looking to do is to help business advisors and their clients manage all aspects of cash within a business. So that's cash moving into the business, cash moving out, and everything in between. And we're looking not only to help manage the cash, but again be able to provide predictions and insights that can help drive those business conversations in the future. So there are three main areas that the platform is currently active in, and I think it's also worth highlighting that we, as a business, we're 2 years old. The business is growing and developing and evolving very quickly. We're venture capital backed, and we actually, just before XeroCon, we announced that we'd raised a further £5 million to help develop the product and for the product to grow. So the pace of development is really going to accelerate in the months ahead. But where we are today, we provide intelligent credit control, so helping companies and business advisors collect the money and get the money that's owed to a business into their bank account, and to do that more quickly, and to automate the process so that the AI and the platform can do as much of the heavy lifting around that as possible. We also provide automated cash flow forecasting, whereby we can use the data, the historical data within the accounting package, combined with the artificial intelligence and the data science, to be able to produce an automated cash flow forecast that doesn't require any input from the user themselves. And then the business advisor is then able to use their knowledge and expertise about a client's plans for the future, but also their business as a whole, to be able to layer on top an additional layer of human intelligence to complement the artificial intelligence that's been used to develop or to produce the cash flow forecast in the first instance. And then, sorry.
Yeah, just on that point, say, I don't know, you're a clothing manufacturer, and you run a very big contract with one of the high street retailers. How accurately would you be able to model that, and how quickly would you be able to model that, knowing that customer's behavior? Is that something that is part of either what you're doing or your plans?
So I guess there are two elements to that question. So when a user imports their data into the platform, the cash flow forecast is literally produced at the touch of a button once that data import has been completed.
Yep.
And you then have the ability to go into the platform and make adjustments and changes and plan for different scenarios going into the future. One of the areas in which the platform does save significant time is that we look at an individual company's relationship with their debtors and with their creditors, and then we use the actual information in terms of how those debtors pay their invoices. to be able to provide a prediction in the future based on that actual behaviour, rather than hypothetical due dates. So if there's an existing relationship in place with that client, then we're going to be able to look back at the historical data and provide a prediction around how quickly we expect them to pay their invoices in comparison to the payment terms. Okay. If it's a new client that they don't have a relationship with, then there's the functionality within the platform to be able to make some predictions and factor that into the forecast going forward. I think taking a step back from that, one of the really interesting areas for us in the future, I mean, essentially we're a data business, and there's a data network effect in terms of the number of companies and data sets that link up to the platform. But in the future, we're going to be able to provide benchmarking and comparisons across companies of different size, across companies of different sectors, and be able to look at particularly large organisations, how they pay their debtors and creditors, and potentially use that information gleaned from their business relationships as a whole, to be able to provide insights when a new client starts a relationship with them. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no. And will that be anonymised on a global basis, but presumably on the client by client basis, it's kind of specific to customers and suppliers?
Yeah, exactly. So there's huge scope for how that information can be shared. Obviously, it's got to be shared in GDPR compliant ways, and it's also worth mentioning that the Fluidly recently became regulated by the FCA. So in terms of how we share and use information, obviously it's been done under best practice, but there's huge scope to be able to develop that side of the platform in the future. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, wow, fantastic. No, it sounds interesting. Sorry I stopped you mid-flow, but it was just like... audience, if you have any questions, please use the chat function to ask questions, because we'll carry on otherwise. And there'll be plenty of time, hopefully, at the end of the webinar as well. So, but feel free to send us questions as you go along. Sorry, keep going. I
think the one other final area, and just in terms of the three areas that the platform is currently working with partners, is for accountants and bookkeepers, we're also able to provide alerting and monitoring, some portfolio alerting and monitoring. So essentially that all of your clients can be linked up to the platform. And it's important at this point to highlight that we're accounting software and platform agnostic in terms of the partners that we work with. So the platform currently works across Xero, QuickBooks and Sage. And we're able to provide accounting partners with insights and information about what's going on across their client base. Again, identifying clients that may be having, or there are cash flow events going on in the future, either positive or negative, but importantly providing insights in terms of those events in advance of them happening, so that you can go and speak to clients about the solutions that potentially you can put in place to solve those scenarios. And again, providing insights in terms of helping businesses grow and help them go about their normal day-to-day business, and importantly, giving you the chance to really add value in terms of helping them on that journey.
Okay, and in terms of the types of products, is it just cloud, or does it include desktop software as well?
So so we're not limited to just working with cloud accounting software. So we work, in terms of the cloud accounting software, we're working with Xero, QuickBooks Online, and with Sage Business Cloud Accounting. But we're also the platform is also available for Sage 50 Desktop as well. So, and again, the accounting software that we're going to work with in the future, again, we're looking to expand and make the product available to as many potential clients as possible. So that list of accounting software will change in the future.
But presumably there'll be something sitting on the person's machine that enables that data to flow through to Fluidly, that will then enable the accountants to then give them data without actually seeing the data, presumably.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the way that it works. And once we're connected up to the accounting software, the Fluidly platform, for the most time-sensitive data sets, updates on an hourly basis, and then there's less time-sensitive information and data that is updated once every 24 hours. But importantly, on an ongoing basis, one of the benefits that we're able to provide is that once the forecast is set up, it will automatically update, and so you don't have to do a lot of work if you come back to the platform a week later to update the forecast. So it's one of the benefits of real-time information being available in the cloud.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Great. Okay. So, I mean, that sounds all great. In terms of your plans, how far down the line would you say you are? And in terms of where you want to get to, how quickly can accountancy partners see the changes that you're planning to bring in? Obviously I appreciate commercial sensitivities, but to the extent that there must have been a reason why you won the award. But tell us a little bit about sort of what you're doing and where you're going.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a really exciting time at Fluidly. The business, as we mentioned earlier, the business was set up 2 years ago in October 2016. We launched the credit control side of the product in October 2017 at XeroCon, and cash flow forecasting went live in May this year. So the product is really developing and evolving very quickly. We've got a team of 20 of us that are based in central London, in Holborn. And with the new fundraising round that we've just raised, we expect the product to really evolve and develop, and that development to accelerate in the near future. We're working with just under half of the top 20 accounting firms in the UK already in terms of the adoption of the product, which we're really pleased with. We're really pleased with that. And we've also, in addition to winning the award with Xero, we've been acknowledged. We won a couple of awards with Accounting Excellence in September for Innovation of the Year and Forecasting, Reporting and Analysis add-on, which is really good news. I think it's fair to say that in terms of the product and where it is today, we've built about 5% of the functionality in terms of how we think the product can evolve. So we're very excited. The cash flow forecasting is live on the Xero platform at the moment, and that will be extended out to Xero and Sage in early 2019. There's a lot of opportunity, particularly around developing and enhancing the scenario planning features of the product, and really looking at how we share information between advisors and their clients in terms of the predictions and the insights that we're able to provide about what's going on in clients' businesses. So.
Okay, and in terms of the success or otherwise of using your product, and I know it's relatively early doors, yeah, what would you say is an important part of the process because, like all these things, garbage in, garbage out. What can firms do in managing their clients to get them in a place where Fluidly genuinely helps make decisions more quickly with real data?
So I guess, as you've highlighted, the quality of the information that we're able to provide is dependent to a certain extent on the data that's put into the accounting software. Although also, because we're taking data where possible from live bank feeds and other sources, we are able to overcome some issues that we do see. But the more real time the accounting data, the more up to date the accounting data is, then obviously the better and more real time the data and the outputs that accountants and their clients get from the platform. I think certainly the benefits at the moment in terms of clients using the credit control, in terms of getting collecting the cash that's owed to them more quickly and getting those funds into their account. They're benefiting from that, and we're seeing huge interest in that area, which is fantastic. And also in terms of the cash flow forecasting, I mean, one of the interesting things with artificial intelligence, and one of the most widely developed user cases for how it's already being used, is around anomaly detection and fraud prevention. So identifying transactions, unexpected transactions and also looking around the reconciliation of transactions. So there are certain things that we can do if the accounting data isn't quite as up to date as you would like it to be, to still be able to provide value from the platform, which is really encouraging, and is only going to develop and evolve in the future as well.
So really, it's for the accountants to either perhaps offer a solution or bring their clients to account in terms of making sure that they do keep their books up to date accurately on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I think certainly where some of our partners are really driving value, and the platforms are helping with clients, is because we can provide them, almost we can highlight the incentive or provide an incentive if they do keep their data. The more up to date they keep their data, the better the insights and the intelligence that they're able to derive. And again, because of the developments in this area in cloud accounting, and maybe clients weren't aware, of how straightforward it was to be able to produce a cash flow forecast. But we were able to show how quickly that can be done, and that can be used, and that is being used by our accounting partners as an incentive to highlight to clients the benefits that they can derive from the platform, and the insights that they can derive if they're able to keep their information up to date. So it's a really useful benefit. And also just in terms of being able to provide insights across a client base, particularly from an accounting perspective, the insights we can provide across a client portfolio is really useful to be able to identify clients that could benefit from potentially improving the way that they're using their accounting software, or the way that they're inputting data, to be able to drive those conversations with clients, so that the accountants also benefit by seeing a meaningful improvement and change from their clients.
In terms of the user cases that you're able to sort of share, how much more quickly, and I guess ultimately people are going to say, well, how do I monetize the value that we're now able to create, perhaps even without the touch of a button?
Yeah. So I guess, what we're seeing and how partners are using the platform at the moment, was really seeing two stages, if you like. So the first is to improve, improvements in efficiency and time saving, and ultimately money saving, in terms of the way things are currently done. So if we're looking on the credit control side of things, our partners are telling us that they're saving up to 40 hours a month in terms of a time saving around their credit control activity, and automating. They're using the platform to be able to automate that process and get the cash that's owed to them in the bank more quickly. I think also around that time saving, it's very, if we can collect the money that's owed to a business more quickly, and that lowers, let's say, overdraft utilization, or it reduces or removes the need for them to take out a loan, there's also a benefit in terms of financing costs around being more efficient in terms of collecting money. Around cash flow forecasting, obviously, if you're providing cash flow forecasting for clients already, it's worth giving some thought to the time that it takes to set those cash flow forecasts up in the first instance. And again, with Fluidly, the idea being that you can produce the forecast automatically, so it's much quicker to produce the forecast, and then it takes minimal input from yourselves to be able to make adjustments and scenario planning in the future. There's a significant time saving there. And also because the platform's very intuitive to use, the most consistent bit of feedback that we get is exactly how intuitive the platform is to use. You can broaden the number of people within your team that may be able to build the forecast in the first instance, or at least have input into building the forecast. So that hopefully improves efficiency. Then I guess the second stage, where partners are really starting to drive value, is being able to use Fluidly as a system of intelligence, essentially, that they can wrap around the system, the existing software that they have in place, or business software they have in place, and those systems of record, being able to wrap a system of intelligence around those systems to be able to pull out insights and information and predictions about what's going to happen across their client base in the future, to really help drive those business advisory conversations. And that's obviously a phrase that's been used an awful lot, and plenty of people have commented that they're unsure exactly what business advisory means, but certainly from Fluidly's perspective, all that we're looking to do is to be able to provide accountants with predictions and insights of what's going to happen to their clients in the future, and those insights can be used to drive conversations with clients in terms of how you can help them, and potential opportunities for providing additional services that's going to benefit their business in the future.
Okay, and I guess one of the things, if say there was a switched on client who understood that, oh, this Fluidly just does stuff. So, you talked about reducing time, and the client says, well, it takes you no time to do this. How do you challenge that, and how do you kind of work with your partners to make sure that it's not about time, it's actually the quality of the outputs, and that's really what the client's paying for, and not the speed at which it's necessarily being delivered?
Well, ultimately, I guess one of the essentially what we're looking to do at Fluidly is to be able to use a combination of artificial intelligence and human intelligence to be able to enhance the way that accountants are working with their clients. And I guess one of the most often used analogies of where that's really been successful in the past is the development of the autopilot, where essentially there's a very manual task. Flying a plane was a very manual task in terms of keeping a plane level and flying in a straight line, and where the introduction of the autopilot, so combining machine learning and human intelligence, meant that pilots were able to fly much further for much longer in much more challenging weather conditions than they would have been able to do in the past. And again, what we're looking to do here at Fluidly is really provide a financial autopilot for business advisors and their clients, so that we can provide that peace of mind that there is something in the background that's constantly monitoring the financial health of a business or a portfolio of clients, and that can leave the advisor and the accountant able and free up their time to be able to concentrate on really providing value-added services and having value-added conversations with their clients around how they can help, and making sure that they're going to be able to deliver that support and that help in the future, particularly importantly at the times that are most valuable to their clients in terms of the development of their business and the challenges and opportunities their businesses will face.
Okay, and in terms of things like, is it through a dashboard, or that you can see what's going on in your world in terms of the clients that you've connected with Fluidly, or is it really through the alert system that you have to, oh, there's been this change, go and have a look? In terms, how would I, if I was the accountant, use your product?
So yeah, we have so that the platform is very flexible in terms of how it can be used, whether or not it's the accountant using it, the clients using it themselves, or a combination, a hybrid of the two. In terms of the portfolio alerting and monitoring, we provide a dashboard for accountants to log into, and there's a huge wealth of data. I mean, as I previously mentioned, we're fundamentally a data business, and because of the very granular nature of the way that we collect the data and import it into the platform, there's incredible options in terms of the data that can be surfaced. Currently, our accounting partners are logging into the platform, but in the future we're doing an awful lot of work at the moment around enhancing that capability and about how we're sharing those alerts with our accounting partners in the future. So one of the things that we're really excited about, and is a sort of core mantra within Fluidly, is that we want to be able to take on board feedback from our existing partners that are using the platform, and also partners that are going to be working with us in the future, so that we can take that feedback and incorporate it into functionality that really adds value for our accounting partners going forward. And certainly the portfolio view side of the platform is something that we're currently doing an awful lot of work on at the moment, because whilst we're very pleased with where we've got to so far, we are very aware that there are huge opportunities in terms of the information that we can surface in the future, and how that can be shared with our partners and their clients.
And if say the people in the room, or even say myself, want to, I'm not, but how easy would it be for somebody to understand the product and get the value out of it? Or do you have a training program, partner program? Tell us a little bit about the customer journey as an accounting partner.
So yeah, so the feedback that we get from partners is that the platform is very intuitive and straightforward to use. But we have new partners that join us who are able to sign up to the platform and benefit from a 14-day free trial. So you can have a look around and understand how it works. We provide a lot of support in terms of the functionality and how to get the most out of the platform, but also within Fluidly, within the commercial team, we also want to provide you with contacts and a face so that you can talk through any questions, and our partners can talk through any questions that they have. So we have chat functionality within the platform so that people can get in touch if they do have any questions or queries. The training that we provide as a team is CPD accredited, and we're very committed to providing ongoing support and for our accounting partners so that they can get the most out of the platform as quickly as possible.
And is that training chargeable, or is it part of signing up as a partner? The training is included as part of one of the partner packages that we have within the platform. So it's not at present there's not an additional charge for that. It's all part of the benefits of working fluidly and starting to develop that journey. Okay, no, that's fine. One thing, and we've kind of touched on this in the past. I mean, I guess there was a reason that you set out on this journey to create this product. What issues do you see still that prevent firms from offering the services that you talk about here, like forecasting, etc.? Is it the mindset? Is it training? Or is it just that the products don't address the key problem, or it's about the quality of the data? Tell us a little bit about that so that the people listening to this can kind of say, oh, actually, that resonates with me, and these are the things if I do, I can then use Fluidly to actually drive more of the services and do the things that I enjoy more, I guess.
Yeah, so I think certainly the availability of data is one issue, and that's something that is hopefully improving very quickly. And industry-wide initiatives or such as MTD are driving more and more clients to start using accounting software. And so the availability of that data is important. I think also historical solutions that are out there they've still generally required a lot of a not insignificant amount of input from the user in terms of building the forecast in the first instance. And our belief very much at Fluidly is that we want to provide a scalable solution so that particularly around the forecasting, it can be delivered at scale very simply, and the speed and simplicity with which the forecast can be built means that it's something that can be added or that can be offered across a client base, rather than it having to be considered for ad hoc clients that may be going through a particular strategic change in their business, or they're looking to raise new funds or that sort of thing. So it's really, I think, part of and obviously there's where there's a significant or where there's a time commitment in terms of setting up the cash flow forecast in the first instance, then obviously that leads on into a potential monetary commitment that's required from the client in terms of building the forecast. So sometimes that can be slightly off-putting, and sometimes business advisors can be cautious about promoting cash flow forecasting as a tool or a service that they can provide to their clients if they're worried or if they're cautious about whether the clients will be happy to pay for that service. But certainly in terms of new technology, I think that's an issue, and our belief at Fluidly is an issue that we've built a solution for. So that's really exciting. I think what's also important is just the the time that's required and the time pressures in terms of carrying out compliance work and making sure certain the other day-to-day tasks are completed, and being able to free up that time within a work schedule to be able to talk to clients about additional services that can be offered. And obviously in the modern day, everyone's under pressure to with the number of hours in the day and the services that they can provide their clients. But yeah, certainly from a technology point of view, I think a number of those issues are being addressed very quickly. So it's really an exciting time to be able to consider offering new services to clients around forecasting and the insights and predictions that can be provided.
Okay, one question from one of the audience, and I was going to touch on it sort of a little bit later. In terms of pricing then, do you price as the entire product? Do you price on the individual features? And then is it as a firm, or do you do it sort of number of clients or a batch of clients? I don't know. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah. So at the moment, our current pricing is based. Users get access to the functionality of the platform, the cash flow forecasting, and the credit control. Obviously, for accounting partners, we have direct. For end users, we have direct pricing that starts at £35 per month plus VAT. And that goes up to £149 per month, depending on the number of invoices that are being raised on a monthly basis. For our accounting partners, we have partner pricing, which is tiered depending on the number of subscriptions that are taken up. But as an example, our silver package includes 20 subscriptions. It provides access to a portfolio view, so you can link up your clients to the platform. You have 20 active subscriptions, and it also includes all of the training, the CPD accredited training, and that's £350 per month. So that the per subscription costs drop fairly rapidly, to under £20.
Yeah, no, that's useful. So thank you for that question. And I guess that ultimately it's kind of, well, okay, it's that much per month, but how much additional value are you then able to demonstrate? And will you be providing tools about what value that the firm's providing as a consequence of actually using Fluidly? Is that something that you are thinking about, or is that talking about stuff generally?
Yeah, no, I mean that's very much a focus, and with the partners that are working with us, we're very keen to talk to them about ideas in terms of how they can present the service to their clients and really drive value and benefits both for their practice, but also for their clients. So more than happy to share that information with partners when they come on board and start working with us. And obviously, because the product and the service is evolving and developing all of the time, obviously we're learning new areas and new ways in which our partners are deriving value, which is also exciting.
Yeah, and in terms of the types of firms that are working with you, you talked about sort of top 20 firms. There's a lot of firms out, listening in today of varying sizes, from sole practitioners to multi-partner. How can they kind of add value and use Fluidly as an active part of their service offering? And do you see, for example, firms that are offering that virtual finance controller, virtual FD type service, that this kind of fits into that process in a more efficient way? I don't know.
Yeah, so no, I think that's very, very much the case. I was actually at the ICB event yesterday and talking to a number of bookkeepers who have maybe slightly smaller client portfolios. So it's certainly not the case that we're only focused on working with the largest firms. Ultimately, anyone can derive value and benefit from Fluidly, of whatever stage they are in terms of the firm's development, the size of the firm, but also their technology adoption. So we have a number of partners that are providing virtual VFO services, and again, because of the breadth of the the platform and the number of different areas in which we're able to benefit accountants and benefit their clients, there are obviously a number of different ways in which they can work with us, and they can drive value and benefit from the platform. So we're really excited and already really pleased to have relationships with firms of all shapes and sizes across the UK and beyond. So it's a really exciting time.
Yeah, no, that's great. I don't think I've got a huge number of other questions. I'd like to ask the audience to kind of ask any questions that are pressing about perhaps you're using products currently, and we know them all. So I'm certainly not going to be critical, because a lot of firms get huge value out of what's out there. But are there any questions that you want to put to Simon today about what Fluidly are doing and how you see it as working? Ooh, there's a question come in. Yeah, is there a demonstration of the product? Today, that wasn't the plan. It was really a conversation about what we were aiming to do today, is how Fluidly fits into an accounting practice. But this is a really good question. Does Fluidly deal well with multi-currency?
So the question is, yes, we do deal well with multi-currency, and we've got that functionality in the platform at the moment. At the moment, we consolidate everything into sterling, but it's very much our focus that in terms of the internationalization of the platform, that we're going to enhance that capability in the future. So I think there are currently something like 70 currency pairs that we're able to work with, but that we're also going to be able to enhancing that functionality going forward.
Right. So it is actually an active part of what you're sort of currently the product out there is. It copes well with multi-currency.
Yes,
really
yes, it does. So
fantastic. That's really good. I've got another question here, and this kind of comes back to something that we started on about me producing an Excel forecast 20 odd years ago. So I'm showing my age now. But what does Fluidly provide? Does it provide the equivalent of an Excel cash flow forecast, including an integrated P&L, or is it just projecting when you'll get paid? So within the platform, we provide a complete cash flow forecast. The way that we've built the cash flow forecast is we've taken the data at a very granular level on a journal by journal, invoice by invoice basis, and then we've built that up into a direct model cash flow forecast. So you're able to look at the forecast, a 12-monthly view, or over a rolling 13 weeks, or you can look at it on a daily basis, and you're also able to export that information into Excel. There's a high degree of granularity within the data, so that you can look at each of the individual lines within the accounting data, so each of the nominal codes, or you're able to look at the information purely on a summarized basis. We don't currently build that, or it doesn't currently feed through into a integrated P&L. But again, how we show that information in the future is something that we're doing a lot of work on now. Okay, and in terms of another question here about the QuickBooks integration on the cash flow forecasting part, do you have a timeline on that? You said that you've got it working with Xero currently. Yep.
So we are aiming for the first quarter of 2019 in terms of the QuickBooks integration, and as I mentioned, because of the fundraising that we just announced, the speed of development and the integration of the platform with other solutions is hopefully going to accelerate. So that's the time frame that we're currently working to.
Okay. Another question we've got here, in terms of providing this report to the client, do you get a fancy report, or do they log into the product, or explain kind of what that kind of looks like in terms of, I guess, the standardization, the customization, and there's two extremes there, but equally some firms will want to do it in different ways. So talk
and as
audience through that.
As is the case throughout the platform, we have we are able to provide a summary of the data, so a key dashboard of all the KPIs and the information, so that you can quickly appraise what's going on in a particular area, and then you have the ability to drill down into the underlying information in much more detail. In terms of sharing the cash flow forecast, then you can currently do that. You have the ability to do that within the platform. So to be able to invite a client as a user to view the information within the platform, or you can also export the information and the forecast itself into Excel, and that can be then shared with the client either within Excel. It can be converted into a PDF. A document, and again, you have a high degree of flexibility in terms of the underlying level of detail that is exported when you pull that information out of the platform. Again, looking forward, we're really excited to to get feedback from the partners that we're working with in terms of how they would like to be able to share the forecast going forward, so that we can make sure we deliver that in the format that adds most value. So we're very, I think importantly, and this goes across the platform, the development of the platform as a whole, we're very open-minded in terms of how we can share information and present information.
Fantastic. Well, Ben, I've run out of questions. Was there anything that we've not covered? We had a very loose agenda, but we've somehow managed to talk for about 50 minutes, Simon. So was there anything that you kind of wanted to sort of share with the audience that I've not kind of asked you about?
No, I think from our perspective, I think we've covered everything. I think the message, from our side, is that we're really excited. The product is developing and evolving, very quickly, and we're really excited about what we've achieved so far. But the opportunities around data and around artificial intelligence and the insights that we're going to be able to provide in the future are really, really exciting. So we've got a lot of work to do, despite the early success that we've had and that we've made with the platform so far. Okay, fine. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way of getting in touch with somebody at Fluidly, whether it's yourself or the team at large? Yeah, so by all means, people can email me at simon.smallwood@fluidly.com, or they can call the team and maybe share the number with them afterwards, and we'd be more than happy to chat, answer any questions that you've got, and talk you through the platform. Fantastic. Well, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, and thank you to the audience. We will be having sort of more webinars in the coming months, but it's really, really interesting conversation today. Thank you very much. 5 seconds about us. Most people know what we do. We do practice compliance outsourcing that support accountants, but all that leaves me to say is thank you very much, Simon, and look forward to talking to you all soon.